Deepwoken updates have been few and far between lately, but a few weeks ago, we received a strange one. There admittedly wasn't much in this update to speak of, and at the time wherein the subject of this video was actually added to the game, we hadn't received an update for around 2 weeks. While your average Deepwoken update arrives with a major point to discuss, a new boss fight like Titus for example, a new mechanic, or a large-scale overhaul, Deepwoken's update brought this thing. It's been planted above the mines at Songseeker Isle, and its arrival brings forth one question. What is it? Before we begin, I'd just like to thank my channel members. Thank you Maciel, Zinnia, Just Bacon, Cryo, Krungus2, and Sins for the tier 1 subscriptions. Thank you Tito for the tier 2, and thank you Dr. Lux, Regia, and Sheeman67 for the glorious Prestige 3. Thank you very much. Oh, and remember to subscribe. Let's get right into the video. Yay! So, we've never seen any structure like this before. It's a sprawling tower-like structure with nothing inside. It's entirely hollow, save for the 2 spire-like structures that extend from the top of the structure and extend far into the sky. Songseeker NPCs can spawn inside and around the structure, and well, that's about all you can glean from a first glance. In fact, I think the mere addition of this structure speaks more to its place in the story than its actual appearance or design. The very existence of the Spire, as I'll be calling it in this video, infers that it's concealing some form of purpose or deeper meaning. However, if you look closely at the area surrounding the Spire, you'll notice that it's not the only new addition to Songseeker Isle. Lying close to the Spire are these things. I don't even know how to describe what they are, but they appear to resemble some sort of jellyfish-like structure. Well, that means it's time to find the classic Deepwoken linchpin that ties everything together in a book or something. Wait, what do you mean there's nothing else? A bare-bone structure and a couple jellyfish huts. That's it? Well, to be entirely honest, I didn't start looking into this Spire with the expectation that it would conceal some grand storyline. Let's be honest, it's just an empty structure right now, and it's most likely there to simply fill the empty space at Songseeker Isle. However, I do have an idea in mind. You know me, of course I do. For starters, the shape of the Spire deeply interests me. The 2-pronged ceiling cannot possibly be a random design choice, especially when you consider just how large the Spire actually is. You'll be seeing this thing from anywhere on Songseeker Isle. Well, why the 2 prongs then? Well, let's take a look at the Songseeker NPCs that we encounter upon the Songseeker Isle. These NPCs can either wield Flame Charm, Frostdraw, Thundercall, or Gale Breathe. The Gale Breathing wielding NPCs were a late addition, and well, that's pretty much all they've got in terms of uniqueness. However, what sets the Songseeker Elemental aside from other enemies design-wise is their signature mask, dyed in the color of whatever attunement that they wield. In fact, the design of this mask is fairly unique, featuring 2 prongs. I wonder where we've seen that before. So, the Spire at Songseeker Isle resembles the masks of the enemies at Songseeker Isle. Truly groundbreaking, as metal. Although, I'd like to draw attention to something I feel has been overlooked since, well, these masks were actually added to the game as a droppable piece of equipment. Why on earth are these masks named Royal Guard? I suppose I shouldn't be taking the naming schemes behind random accessories too seriously, but this is fairly intriguing. I can't imagine these masks being named completely randomly, so I'll spitball a few reasons as to why this could be the case. Either the Songseeker NPCs were formerly members of some sort of Royal Guard, or the masks originally belonged to some Royal Guard faction, and were then repossessed by the Songseekers. Though there's really no way to tell, so let's get back on track. The description of the Songseeker Temple area at the top of Songseeker Isle reads as follows. There are those who seek to wield the song as those of the old world once did, as an art form to be cultivated into something transcendent. We can garner that these Songseekers are, quite literally, seeking the song. Yes, obvious, I know. This is absurdly obvious, but for a while I thought it was too in-your-face for it to actually be the truth. Regardless, the Songseekers have established some sort of temple, so it's clear that this is an actual practice, rather than some colloquial agreement or pledge of some kind. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you know nothing about the old world. Essentially, the old world was dominated by so-called song workers, who wielded the song as song work. Song work was incredibly unrefined and was simply exerted as shortcuts during manual labor. Song workers were essentially slaves to the higher powers of the time. As song work was far less refined back in the day, I'm assuming that these song seekers wished to return to that rougher form of the song in order to cultivate it into something. I have no idea what these song seekers plan to actually do with song work, let alone how they're practicing song work, but I digress. I highly doubt that's been meticulously planned out regardless. Okay, so where does that leave the Spire? We have these Songseekers, attunement users who are seeking to return to the old world's form of song work. These Songseekers don masks with 2 horns or prongs, masks labeled Royal Guard. In addition, these Songseekers roam in groups around a colossal 2-pronged spire-like structure similar to the very masks that they wear. They've also erected strange turtle jellyfish-looking structures around the spire that seem to currently serve zero purpose. What's the grand narrative here? I have no idea. If I really wanted, I could spitball some batshit conclusion like Songseeker Isle was formerly inhabited by some sort of sovereign nation that eventually collapsed due to the erection of an old world-focused religious cult spearheaded by Yamaketzel, and the Spire is a religious shrine to the Capra god Ku, and aliens exist. There you go. There's your mind-blowing theory. On a serious note, I'm under the impression that the Spire simply hasn't been expanded upon enough yet, and that solving any deeper narrative behind both it and the Songseekers currently stands as largely impossible. What do you think of the Spire, and just where do you think these Songseekers came from? You can contact me at OmersMetal on Discord if you'd like to reach out, and you can join my Discord server at discord.gg/luminal. Luminal Accord, easy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and much love. Bye.